There's a camera pointed at you. Maybe it's at a family dinner, maybe it's a friend's birthday, maybe it's a wedding where someone with a professional lens keeps appearing at your elbow at the worst possible moments. And the second you see it, something shifts. Your smile goes stiff. Your body goes awkward. You suddenly forget what to do with your hands, which is strange because you've had hands your entire life and they've never been this confusing before. And if you could, you would quietly evaporate, just dissolve into the background and reappear once the camera is gone. Sound familiar? If it does, you've probably been told some version of the same story your whole life, that you're being difficult, that you're too self-conscious, that you just need to relax and smile and stop making a big deal out of it. As if the camera aversion is just a quirk you could switch off if you really wanted to. But here's what those people don't understand, what the psychology actually tells us. This isn't vanity in reverse, it isn't simple shyness, and it is absolutely not a big deal made out of nothing. The discomfort people feel around being photographed is rooted in something real, something deep, and once you understand what's actually happening in the mind and nervous system of someone who hates cameras, you may never look at this the same way again. Let's start at the beginning, with the mirror. There's a fascinating psychological phenomenon called the mirror exposure effect, discovered by researcher Robert Zionch, which tells us that humans tend to prefer things they've seen more often. Familiarity breeds comfort. And here's the thing about your own face. The face you are most familiar with is not actually your face. It's your mirror face, the reversed, flipped image you've seen every single morning of your life. And photographs don't show you your mirror face. They show everyone else's version of you, the unflipped, real-world face that the rest of the world sees every day but that you almost never encounter. Research has consistently shown that people prefer mirror images of themselves over photographs, while their friends and family prefer the photographs. You look wrong to yourself in pictures, not because you're unattractive, because you're unfamiliar. That slight asymmetry that never bothered you in the mirror suddenly looks glaring in a photo. That's not reality distorting you, that's your brain reacting to something it doesn't recognize as home. And if that were the only thing going on, it would almost be funny, a simple quirk of perception. But it goes deeper than that. For many people, the camera isn't just a lens, it's a judgment. Think about what a photograph actually does. It freezes you. It takes one single fraction of a second out of your entire living, breathing, dynamic existence and says, this is you. This is what you are. Here, hold still forever. And that is a deeply strange and slightly terrifying thing when you think about it honestly. We are not still. We are not one expression, one angle, one moment. We are constantly in motion, constantly shifting, constantly becoming. And photographs erase all of that and present a single frozen verdict. For people who are high in what psychologists call self-discrepancy, meaning the gap between how they see themselves and how they fear others see them, that frozen verdict can feel like a trap, like evidence being collected. There's also something worth understanding about control because it's central to this. Cameras are, at their core, a transfer of power. Before a camera, you control your presentation. You decide what you reveal, what you hold back, how you move through a room, what impression you leave. The moment a camera appears, that control is handed to someone else. They decide the angle. They decide the timing. They decide whether your eyes were half closed or whether your laugh came out strange or whether the light happened to hit you in a way that felt unflattering. And then, in the age of social media, they decide where that frozen moment goes and who sees it. For people who value autonomy, particularly those with histories of having their image, identity, or narrative controlled by others, that loss of control isn't trivial. It can feel genuinely threatening in ways that are hard to articulate but very easy to feel. Let's talk about something that doesn't come up enough in these conversations: trauma. Not always dramatic, capital T trauma, but the quieter kind. The kind that builds over years of small moments. The childhood photo that became a family joke. The school picture that got passed around. The candid shot posted online without permission that attracted comments you didn't ask for and couldn't unhear. Your nervous system is extraordinarily good at pattern recognition. If cameras have been associated, even occasionally, with embarrassment, exposure, or loss of control, your brain will start treating cameras the way it treats any recognized threat, with a quiet alarm, a tightening, a very reasonable desire to not be in the picture. And here is where I want to push back on the cultural narrative a little, because we live in a world that has decided that loving being photographed is normal, and that not loving it is the deviation that needs to be fixed. We have entire social platforms built on the assumption that everyone wants to be seen, documented, and shared constantly. And if you don't, there is something subtly wrong with you, something to overcome, a therapy topic, a confidence issue to work through. But think about the vast majority of human history. For most of the time humans have existed, there were no cameras. There was no documentation of ordinary moments. People lived their lives, had their dinners, laughed with their families, and none of it was frozen and stored and made available for judgment. The desire for that kind of private, undocumented existence is not a disorder. It might actually be one of the most ancient and human instincts there is, the instinct to live your life rather than perform it. There's also a personality dimension here that's worth naming. Introverts and highly sensitive people, those whose nervous systems process stimulation deeply and intensely, often report stronger discomfort with being photographed. And it makes complete sense when you understand how their minds work. Being photographed is a form of being witnessed, being evaluated, being held up for scrutiny. And for minds that already process social feedback deeply and feel the weight of others' perceptions acutely, a camera isn't a casual thing. It's an intensity multiplier. It takes something already sensitive and turns up the volume. But here's what I want you to hold on to. Here's the reframe that I think matters most. Hating being photographed often means you have a strong, stable sense of self that doesn't need external validation to feel real. It can mean you are present in your life in a way that resists the urge to constantly document it. It can mean that you understand, on some level, that you are more than any image of you could ever capture, that you are too dynamic, too layered, too alive to be reduced to a rectangle on a screen. The people throughout history who resisted having their image captured and controlled were often the ones who understood something important, that identity is not a photograph, that a person is not their surface, that the most meaningful parts of a human life, the joy, the grief, the love, the thinking, the becoming, none of that shows up in a camera frame. It lives in the actual, unrepeatable, undocumented moments themselves. So if you're someone who ducks behind other people in group photos, or quietly asks to be left out of the camera roll, or just never quite knows what to do when a lens appears, I want you to hear this. You're not broken. You're not difficult. You're not failing at being human in the modern age. You might just be someone who knows the difference between living a moment and performing it. And honestly, that's a kind of wisdom. If this resonated with you, drop a comment below and let me know. Are you a camera avoider? Have you ever really thought about why? I genuinely love to hear your story. And if you want to keep exploring the quiet psychology behind the things that make you who you are, subscribe and come back. There is always more to understand, and understanding yourself is never wasted time.